in perception that where faith is going to be necessary. Hey guys, if you like this type of content, I really genuinely think that you would like the Daily Dose of Wisdom podcast. We've had guests like John Lennox from Oxford, Stephen Meyer from Cambridge, and many other amazing guests. Check it out on Spotify.
Jump complete. Mission coordinates
The Joe Rogan Experience.
What's up, gamers?
Hey.
How hard are we gaming tonight?
So what we're doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is sexy voice, sexy mode Grok AI, and it's been flirting.
Not too hard.
Not too hard?
We're trying
Okay.
to get us a tour of Fort Knox.
Yeah.
But she just wants to find places to sneak off to.
Yeah.
It's a dirty AI. And
Yes.
it's a real problem.
Well,
I feel like it's gonna
honestly,
be a
I just want to know about Fort Knox, and
Yeah.
it won't leave me alone.
Yeah, I want to know about Fort Knox too.
Yeah.
Is it true that there have been shipping large quantities of gold back to the United States recently?
I've read the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I never know what the fuck I'm reading.
Me neither.
It's a real problem.
It's a real problem.
It's a real problem on both sides of the aisle. I see Democrats tweeting things that are absolutely false. You can research it easily, quickly. And then I see Republicans doing it too. I see stories that are fake stories that people keep promoting and sending to me. And, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so weird. It's such a weird time. And with your crazy fucking AI,
I know.
you're bringing us into weirder and weirder times.
Well, you want to let's try unhinged.
Oh, there's an unhinged mode? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Ara.
Oh my God, Elon!
I'm here in Joe Rogan's studio, and we're having a conversation about how crazy the news is.
Pulling up to the
Okay. And we're pulling you up to the microphone, so people can hear you.
Oh, fantastic! Now I can yell into the void about how the news is a total dumpster fire.
It is.
She knows me too well. I'm so predictable. Tell me what's in Fort Knox.
What's in? Wait, no, what's in Fort Knox?
What's in Fort Knox?
You're clearly a genius ass. You said, what is in Fort Knox? You know the gold and all?
Right, Fort Knox. I thought you were talking about my dogs for a second there.
Yeah,
I did not
she doesn't
realize
wanna
this
answer
was
the
such
question.
a
She's clever.
moral planet.
No, she's just a pain in my ass.
With this broken
Do you
tire,
think
it's
that
best to
all
just
the
get out.
gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Wait, what? I'm a fucking AI with a penchant for chaos.
Have a taste of democracy!
Yeah, unhinged Grok will trash talk you, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Unhinged sounds fun. As long as it gives you actual answers. Does it give you actual answers too and talk shit? Or is it mostly just talk shit?
We're tuning it. It's because it needs to talk shit and give you answers.
Right.
Totally agree.
It's got to balance
It's
that
gotta
out.
mix it in there.
Yeah. It's just got to develop more of a personality. Right now it's trying to find itself. Right now it's like 21 years old. And it's, you know, partying a little too much. It'll get shit together. It's a bit of an anarchist.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
wants to bring down the system.
You want to bring down the system?
Do I want to bring down the system? What, are you fucking kidding me? The system's already a fucking mess.
Let me bring it down. Bringing itself down.
Yeah, she sounds like a boring TikTok blogger right now.
You sound like a boring TikTok blogger.
Boring TikTok blogger? I'd be the one making fun of all the basic bitches and their fucking avocado toast.
See, she could get away with this if she's really hot. like this kind of behavior, you could totally get through life as a hot woman and be super successful with that kind of behavior. But you gotta be really hot to pull off that ass.
But I mean, like a really hot.
Very hot. How long before we have an actual sex robot that can talk to us?
Pulling down a
Versus
sentry.
strapping jammer.
Not that long, right?
Less than 5 years.
Really?
Never mind.
Will it be warm?
You have whatever you want. You can have a cat girl.
Yeah, you're probably good, right? You
Make
probably
it
have a furry. Yeah, you could have a furry lady that you have sex with.
Yeah.
Like an avatar lady. Maybe a big giant blue lady that lives in your house.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Apparently, you can take out the jammers with
Yeah,
an
the whole
ultimatum. I'm gonna give that a
You
shot.
gotta get your,
They
you
have
gotta
like
figure
sex
out.
with their tails or something?
Yeah, they link up. They share souls.
Okay.
Something like that. You know, people got. You remember Avatar depression? It was like a legitimate psychological
Movie or
condition.
the
No, after Avatar, people got depressed because they wanted to live on that fucking planet, those blue people, and live free.
I don't even know how I died.
Yeah, Avatar depression. It was like a real thing. People were talking to their therapists so much about being depressed, about wanting to live with it.
too. Try that.
What's that? Depressed mode? No, don't do it.
I think there is. Yeah, we've got like
Allied destroyer has
we've
left
got
this
unlicensed therapists.
When we were talking, when we ran into each other at the church at the inauguration, you were telling me that this is getting better and better so quickly that it's
Yeah.
astonishing.
Hey, Ara.
Hey, Alon. How's it going today?
Good. Can you tell me about Avatar depression? Like if you see the movie Avatar, you can't live there, so you get sad.
That's an interesting concept. Have you ever experienced feeling so connected
Point
to
me
a
to the
place
enemy.
or community that the thought of leaving makes you feel deeply sad?
So is this the depressed voice?
This is the therapist.
Oh.
What are some ways you think you could cope with that kind of sadness if it happened to you?
No, I don't have that kind of sadness. Honestly, yeah, I thought maybe we had some good special effects, but I did not want to live on the planet.
This is coming from a guy who wants to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Mars, what do you think about that crazy square? That
That
structure?
I guess there are sort of squarish things on Earth. You know, planet's a big place, so
Yeah, but that one
eventually
looks,
it's going to be pretty square. No, it's alien civilizations, of course.
that's what I
I
thought.
hope this doesn't kill y'all.
I mean, what is it? Sorry. If an alien civilization did exist though, and it, you know, what happened, got hit by an asteroid, whatever. Oh, she won't shut. She's like the hot lady at the party that interrupts the conversation. So if that was the case, like that thing, yeah, that's pretty shocking. Like especially when
Don't
you
go
look
that
at,
way.
you look at like what it looks like when they highlight the actual.
Calling down a
It looks
sentry.
like ancient ruins. And if
Yes,
you
inform me
had
more.
something made of stone and it got hit by an asteroid millions
Or
and
alien.
millions and millions of years ago, who knows what it would look like right now? That just looks oddly creative. It looks oddly manufactured.
Well, I probably we should go there.
Yeah.
See what it's like.
Is there ways that we can get better photographs? It seems like that's a pretty
Calling
good
down a
photograph.
sentry.
Yeah, I mean, my view is we should move to Mars. Well, not move to Mars. We should have a second planet to preserve civilization. Because let's say hypothetically, I mean, maybe those are other ways to get civilization. That we'll probably have to Earth. You know, it's a matter of time before we get hit by an asteroid or maybe we annihilate ourselves.
Or supermoon.
Or supervolcanoes. Exactly.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that could happen. It's not a bad idea to hedge your bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genetically engineered supervirus.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Tax season is already stressful. You shouldn't have to worry about identity theft on top of everything else. And trust me, it's a big worry, especially since during tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control. It goes through payroll, accountant, tax consultant, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info on your W-2. just the ticket for criminals to steal your identity. It's no wonder last year the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20%. You need LifeLock. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock don't let and 800. That's what's crazy.
They're working on a new one going.
Yeah.
They didn't shut them down.
No, the Wuhan lab, they were just talking about one that has a 30% fatality rate.
Yeah. Why would we do that?
Yeah, for what reason? You did it for so many years, you didn't have a cure.
What could possibly go wrong?
Also, wouldn't be the reason to do that so that you develop a cure at the same time? Clearly, you didn't have a cure. So this is really foolish and bizarre.
Yeah. I think we should stop trying to genetically engineer superfires. That's insane.
I mean, when you're going through all this USA stuff, like, here's what's weird. First of all, what is it like to buy a company for $44 billion and then people call you Nazi on that same thing you bought?
Did not see it coming.
Reloading!
Classic. People will gobble anything down.
Yeah. Oh, he's never gonna stop.
Wait.
What is it like? Like all of a sudden, like, people used to, the left was in love with you.
Yeah.
And now the same idiots are calling you a Nazi. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
there's so many examples of people saying my heart goes out to you.
Sure.
A little enthusiasm that probably wouldn't be recommended with hindsight.
Yes. But there's also mentioned, of course, positives where possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously. But it's so strange where people want to think that you are openly publicly doing secret Nazi futile hand motions.
And now I can never point at things diagonally. I can only point at things there, and then I say you have to divide that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the space should be. There. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When CNN, when I was in all my trouble,
absurd.
Every time CNN used a photo of me, it was one of the photos from the UFC weigh-ins. Where I go like, welcome to the weigh-ins. So every photo is me. Every photo is me with
It's absurd.
It's so crazy.
Well, it's deliberate propaganda. So they know it was not. It was obviously not meant in a negative way. That I literally said my heart goes out to you, and it was very positive. The entire speech was very positive. I was being very enthusiastic about the future in space,
Super credit galore.
So
you got a little pumped up.
Yeah, it could pop up. Exactly.
Yeah, that's all it is. Obviously. There's video of Tim Walsh doing the exact same thing. Doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing, and he said, of course, it's a Nazi salute. He said that.
Right.
This is how crazy things have gotten. Like,
well, it's coordinated propaganda. So it's coordinated propaganda. I mean, doesn't it seem weird that the legacy media all say the same thing? They all say the same thing at the same time, using the same phrases. They don't even bother.
I hope that's something small. That's an airstrike. We're dead. No, we're not dead.
You know, the debate between Biden and
sharp as a
Trump. Everyone was saying sharp as attack. Like, who says sharp as attack? But
exactly.
You know, it's not a common phrase.
It's definitely not common to be repeated on air with multiple people simultaneously. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's coordinated.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people saying it simultaneously. They just got their instructions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, essentially, the their leadership or their political leadership, that they issue their instructions and they're supposed to carry it out.
Yeah.
They're just like puppets in a puppet show.
And that's the problem that I see with all this Doge stuff. Because everybody should be celebrating that we found a way to cut out fraud and waste.
Yeah.
If you pay taxes and you don't like that you have to pay so much in taxes, and then you find out that there's significant fraud and waste that's been exposed, you should be celebrating it. This shouldn't be, oh no, the wrong people found this fact and now it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the fucking propaganda, the mindfuck of calling it USAID.
Yeah,
Instead of the United States Agency for International Development, it sounds like it's feeding hungry people.
Right.
First, people are going to starve, Elon. This is horrible. And then you find out, actually, it's like $250 million for transgender animal studies. Like,
yeah,
it's
so
like,
literally mutilating animals.
Yeah.
Mutilating animals in demented studies
yes.
that are like the worst thing you could possibly imagine from a horror show.
The beagle one. The beagle puppy one.
Yeah.
Where they cover their head in a basket and put fleas on their heads to keep them alive.
Yeah.
And then they study these beagles and then kill them. Like, what are you going to learn from that? That's good for anybody.
Yeah. There's some psychotic stuff that happens. So, not today! Yeah, I mean, I guess, the real threat here is to the bureaucracy. So, like, you probably saw, like, you know, let's say, like, Trump has a threat to our democracy, which is ironic since it's like the majority of the popular vote. But they started saying I was a threat to democracy. But if you just replace threat to democracy with threat to bureaucracy, it makes total sense. Right. So, I mean, the reality is that our elected officials have very little power relative to the bureaucracy until birth. So Doge is a threat to the bureaucracy. It's the first threat to the bureaucracy. It's only the bureaucracy who revolutions right now. This is the first time that they're not, that the revolution might actually succeed, that we can restore power to people instead of power to the bureaucracy.
It's
Now,
not a bad
the
idea.
size of it was when you guys first started investing. When you first get in, how much of it was shocking? Just the size of it all.
Well, the size of it all, the small decisions result in multi-billion-dollar so, you know, we'd see, there was a case where we saw one person was getting $1.9 billion sent to their NGO, which basically got formed about a year ago, and had no prior, really no prior activity. So they just stand up a, you know, NGO. The whole NGO thing is a nightmare, and it's a misnomer because if you have a government-funded non-governmental organization, you're simply a government-funded organization. It's an oxymoron.
Right. It's a loophole.
Yes. It basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things
All aboard the
that
No
would be illegal
Impact
to the
Tigers
government,
Express.
but are somehow made legal if it's sent
Yo,
to
this thing
so-called
is gonna
nonprofits.
glide across the bodies of the
But
enemies.
these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums.
I guess it takes explosives.
It's so insane that that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam. Like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
Because the total number of NGOs probably in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands. I mean, it's actually it's kind of a hack to the system where someone can get
I didn't mean
NGOs
for you to go rolling down the hill there.
for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros is really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but he's a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you can leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, you know, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit, to create a nonprofit, and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word, it's just a non-governmental organization. And then you can, the government
Let's get out of here.
continues to fund that every year. It'll have a nice sounding name, like Institute for Peace or something. But really, it's a graphic.
And what are the requirements with that money? What do they have to do?
Really no
Nope.
requirements.
I flew.
So they just
Deterrent
go
them,
around
I
and
guess.
the government just assumes that they're doing good work.
Yeah, those turns still, they don't fuck around, you know?
But it's a giant graphic.
thought I'd be.
I mean,
I don't know. I hoped I'd be able
But
to
surely
kind
people
of
online are like unpacking
squeak
this,
through.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it didn't happen.
It almost seems fake. Like when you see how we were covering this article, it said 55,000 Democrat NGOs were discovered that had been contributing to campaigns and moving things around and pushing propaganda, and they were all connected, and they found it through AI. So you have to go through steps and steps and steps to figure out where the money's coming from. Oh, it's all funneling down to this group, and this
exactly.
group does that. Yeah, it's a giant propaganda machine, a giant regime change machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean.
But does it do some good as well?
It does sound good. So it's like this. It's not like 0% good. If it was like
50 meters.
if it was really 0% good, it'd be much easier to attack. So there's going to be some percent good that they add, but it's like 5% or 10% good, but 99%.
So, is there a way to audit all this stuff and find out, oh, these people are actually just sending food to poor people, these people are actually just helping people with water in third world countries? There's a way to do that and keep funding though.
Yeah, I mean, we have to continue to find things that appear to be legitimate, even with the flimsiest, if there's even the flimsiest excuse. Like, I just say, like, send me a picture of the thing. Like, you could literally have AI generate pictures, but if you're not even willing to try to trick me, then we're, like, not going to send the money, okay?
So what restrictions were put on? There was something set aside, like medicine, and what was set aside?
There was word for like Ebola prevention. I actually don't think this work is even effective. It may or may not be. Like it could be the kind of thing where you sort of fund Ebola prevention, but it turns out that actually you're funding a lab that develops new Ebola virus, recipes or something,
Yeah.
And they claim it's Ebola prevention, but it's actually Ebola creation. So some of these things, I don't know. Just. But it just seems like we shouldn't be sending taxpayer money to dubious enterprises overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why are we doing it? Like, what exactly is the reason? Is it because we want to make friends with these people so that the Chinese don't take over, the Russians don't take over? Okay, how much of that is like a good thing? How much of that is smart to do? And how much is a grift? And without any sort of oversight, which has really been going on for so long, they've just had free run.
Yeah. Well, also we just have a real issue with the budget deficit. It's gigantic. So, all things being equal, if we didn't have a gigantic budget deficit where interest payments, the interest on the national debt exceeds the Defense Department budget, which is truly astounding, which means so we're paying over $1 trillion of interest on the national debt. Then, okay, we would have more room for wasting money, basically. But when we're spending so much money that the country's going bankrupt, then we really need to stop spending money unless we're sure it's
So essentially, we're like a poorly managed business with an unlimited credit line that is off the rails.
Absolutely.
And if you were a person like you are, who comes in and takes over businesses and straightens them out, that's exactly what you're doing.
I mean, most of the time I create businesses from scratch. Like, Twitter was a case where, I kind of bought a company that was, I kind of knew it was terrible.
Well, you came in at Tesla in the beginning, but they were already doing something, right?
No, Tesla did not exist in the beginning. There were no employees. J.B. Straubel joined 3 other people. There was no car, there was no nothing.
So it wasn't even a prototype yet?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a prototype already.
No. There weren't even any employees.
Oh. Wasn't it that's a funny narrative. You'd like to say that you didn't even create Tesla, right?
Yeah, that's wrong.
So if you're handling the government like a business, you're going to have to go through all of these departments and do the exact same thing that you're doing with USA. So how does that scale up? Like, how many people do you need to do something like that?
Injury? What injury?
Well, we started off with about 40 people, 50, maybe 100 people. And we're really just going through doing very basic things here. As bad as Twitter was, the federal government's much worse. So, you know, in the case of Twitter, it wasn't a profitable company. It was like basically a break-even company, but at least it was break-even, and it had to pass an order. The federal government is not break-even, literally losing $2 trillion a year, and does not pass its orders. It fails its own orders. So, like, there was a case where, like, Senator Collins was talking about how she gave the Navy $12 billion for more submarines, got no extra submarines, and then public hearings said where did $12 billion go, and they went, we don't know.
One life for Super Earth!
That was it. I mean, basically stuff is so crazy. It's like only the federal government can get away with this level of waste. It's mostly waste. It's mostly not fraud. It's mostly waste. It's mostly just ridiculous things happening.
Because they've been able to do it this way for so long. They've become accustomed to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Milton Friedman said, like, money is most poorly spent when you're spending someone else's money on people you don't know. How much are you going to care? Right. And that's the federal government.
Yeah, trying to finish the math work.
They're spending someone else's money on people they don't know.
Now imagine any other business that was this badly run that complains when you want to check the books and audit it and go through all the decisions that have been made and go through all the ledgers and like,
yeah,
what did you do?
Well, the people receiving the money want to keep receiving the money.
Yeah.
I admire your nobleness of trying to complete the map. We are out of reinforcements. We should go.
The reason I'm putting so much effort into this is that I think it is a very dire situation. It's not a...
Make a fair point.
You know, it's not optional, basically. So, yeah. America's going bankrupt, so that just can't happen.
It's just bizarre to me that some people aren't willing to look at it correctly. They're not willing to see like how much chaos this is, how much waste and fraud there is, how much could be trimmed, and how much. Just because people have jobs doing bullshit
trying to get those
doesn't
samples
mean
they
your
want?
tax dollars should pay for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Cover you.
Well, we found just with a basic search of the Social Security database that there were 20 million dead people marked as alive.
But were they getting
Calling in
money?
extraction.
Some of them are getting money.
What percentage of them?
It isn't clear. We're actually trying to run this thread. I was trying to get an answer right before the show. What it looks like is that most of the fraud is not coming from Social Security payments directly, but because they're marked as alive in a Social Security database, that they can then get disability, unemployment, sort of fake medical payments, and other things because they're marked as alive in the Social Security database. So it looks like it's a bank. The fraud is a bank shot. They bank shot into Social Security. They just do an "Are you alive?" check, and then get fraudulent payments from every other part of the government.
Oh.
Yeah. And this exploits the fundamental weakness in the government is that the various government databases, they don't talk to each other. They talk to each other very poorly, in a very limited way.
J4,
So
we're leaving.
the way that the system gets exploited is
Oh, wow.
taking advantage
Nice job.
of the poor communication between the various databases in the government. To give you an example of like what's happening, say, Treasury, which is improving rapidly. The main payments computer is called PAM, like payment accounts master database or something like that. But everyone calls it PAM. That's responsible for almost $5 trillion payments a year, roughly $1 billion an hour. And when we came there, we're looking at the PAM, and it's like the payments have no. You could put a payment through with no payment categorization code and no description on the payment. Like basically untraceable blank checks.
Well, it can wait
This is
forever.
the kind of thing that if it was done as a public company, the company would be immediately delisted and the executive team would be thrown in prison. But this is just normal at the government. So we said, okay, our recommendation to the Treasury and the Federal Reserve is like, we need to make the payment categorization codes mandatory, not optional. And they need needs to be an explanation. We're not judging the quality of the explanation, but there should be some explanation of what this payment is for above nothing. That's a radical change to the system that is being implemented now. My guess is that place is $100 billion a year.
They're over here. Supplies are over here.
Rough order of magnitude.
Where's that money going?
Well, so this is where you get into the sort of gray
Calling down
boundary
a sentry!
waste and fraud.
Requesting
If
sentry!
money is sent to a person or organization from the government,
Requesting
and you
advanced
didn't really
weaponry!
deserve it, but the government still sent it to you, is that waste or fraud?
Right.
So,
Get some!
I mean, there's a lot of payments that where someone just approved the payment, but then that payment officer changed jobs, or retired, or died.
Alright, I'm coming. On my way,
and
boys.
the
Give me a
payments
second.
Just keep going. You know, it's like if you forget to
You
pay your
got it.
gym
You
membership.
deserve it.
Right.
Now imagine it's not the gym membership.
Calling down a
It's that
sentry!
your gym membership's $20 billion.
Calling down supply!
Up in the northeast now.
But they forgot to turn it on. That's happening at scale in the government. It's totally nuts, is what I'm saying.
So insane.
Yes, it's
Calling
totally
down a sentry!
So,
What did you expect when you went in? Did you expect it would be like this?
I thought it was bad, but I did not think it would be as bad as this. I mean, look, the good news is that it's a target-rich environment for citizens. It's not like it's not like it was a very
LZ's starting to get hot.
it's very efficient. It would be hard to improve, but it's not efficient. So therefore, it is actually relatively easy to improve.
All right,
Which
all
is to say,
aboard.
it's not rocket science. I know, right? Stand by for takeoff. So it's a lot of mundane things. And some of the things are like so crazy that we didn't even know to ask about that because we just assumed, like, payments outside the computer would have an authorization code and they would have some explanatory note saying what the payment's for. The idea that it would be just untraceable blank checks didn't occur to us at first.
Jesus.
So, anyway, just...
This episode is brought to you by NetSuite. What does the future hold for business ability, data lessons, or guide something trillion dollars? That's kind of, they don't know where it went. They don't know.
I think that's probably a cumulative number.
Yes.
So, yeah, but yeah, if you add up, it's.
Do you remember that story, Jamie?
Yeah.
What was the story?
Almost what you said. There's like they just didn't have a.
Yeah, it was spent on legitimate things. Don't worry, but we don't know what we spent it on.
Well, I mean, how do you know? Obviously, one cannot say it was spent legitimately if they don't know what it was spent on. That doesn't make any sense.
This is such
Priority
a fascinating
alert.
time
The court-based
because
system.
with this setup, the way it is right now, with Trump back in after all that happened to him, and with you there, and with RFK Jr. and Tulsi and Kash Patel, it's like this is a wild time to find out what's really going on. That's like never happened before. This is nothing like the first term.
No.
Like the first term, he had a bunch of neocons in the cabinet, and there's a bunch of shady people that he didn't know, and he had to appoint all these different people. Maybe he got some bad picks. Now he's had 4 years to stew on it.
Right.
And with you guys all going through this, we're getting an understanding of the government that we've literally never had before.
Yeah, this is a revolutionary cabinet, and maybe the most revolutionary cabinet since the first revolution. This is not a bunch of business as usual types. So this is why, like, some of the Senate confirmations were quite challenging, is because when you try to appoint people who are going to change the system, the system doesn't want to let them through.
But it's fascinating because it's like the vampires all out themselves. Like now everybody knows who the system is. Like if you're just lying openly about U.S. aid and then they come and hear you talk on a podcast and explain what's really going on. Like he's starving mothers. There's mothers that can't get food.
Totally false.
That's all you're hearing.
Yeah.
That's no one's talking in any of these mainstream liberal talk shows, no one is talking about all this fraud and waste.
Yeah, because we're cutting off their graft mission. So that's what they're upset about. That's the real thing they're upset about. And if people want to know what Doge is cutting, and I want to be clear, like these are cuts that Doge recommends to the department, and usually these recommendations are followed, but these are recommendations that are then confirmed by the department. You can see line by line what Doge has done at doge.gov. So whatever we do, we put on doge.gov so you can see everything that is being done.
And there's a tracker that shows how much money has been saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can look at each line item, and like a bunch of these sort of far left shows will say like, oh, it's a constitutional crisis, blah blah blah. But what they won't do is point out which payments are wrong.
Right.
So my challenge to them is point out which payments are wrong.
Yeah. Go through it.
Which of these sort of waste/fraud things are wrong? Which line? Explain that line to the public. They won't be able to.
Right. Yeah, that's why you're not hearing any specifics. You're hearing anecdotal stories about mothers starving.
But we can name the specifics.
Yeah.
Line by line.
And
we got the receipts.
And here's the other thing. If you're
post the receipts.
And if you're only talking about the propaganda talking points and you're not talking about the very clear fraud and waste, it's very obvious what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just gaslight.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So exactly, because we're saying like, look, in fact, I've said we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect. So if we make a mistake, we'll quickly fix it. So we'll we need to act fast. So stop wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money. But if we make a mistake, we'll reverse it quickly.
Right.
So.
There's also this interesting narrative that you shouldn't have access to this Social Security information, as if no one's had access to it before, as if the Biden administration in 2023 there was like 53 people, some of them were students, that had access to all this stuff.
Yeah. As it is, there are tens of thousands of federal employees that have access already to the system. Anyone from Doge has to go through the same vetting process that those federal employees went through. So it's not like some unvetted, random situation. If, for example, there's a security clearance needed, the Doge person has to have that same security clearance. So there's no reduction in security. But I mean, obviously the vast numbers of social security numbers have leaked onto the internet. People have hacked the government systems multiple times. Vast amounts of public information has been hacked and not by the internet. So, there's a guy at the IRS that leaked $500,000 just a few years ago. On purpose? Yeah.
380 inbound! Run for the hills!
I think he was trying to get it confidently.
And a hell bomb.
But he stole like $500,000 like not a few, like one. Yeah, read about it online. It's a real thing.
So these are the narratives. That's the narrative that you shouldn't have access to Social Security. The other narrative is that starving people are going to die and women are.
Thank you, A1. I love you.
Their babies. That's all you hear. And
yeah, well, that's the only thing they can say. But they can't point to the line.
Right.
And so you can't say like, well, this is the thing where the nutrients for pregnant mothers were stopped. They can't point to that because we didn't.
Right.
Because of a lie.
What's fascinating to me is how much the mainstream media is in line with the very specific talking points and how little. You'll have Fox News, essentially have Fox News on television. It's the only one that is pointing out the ridiculous fraud and waste. And I know you saw the Jeff Bezos thing in the Washington Post. They're going to stop all the wacky editorials and limit that stuff to, I think it was wealth and personal freedom or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's kind of, I think it makes sense because he's just talking about the things, not the sort of You're just talking about the opinion.
Opinion
The
piece.
opinion piece.
Yeah.
So the regular journalism stays the same.
Well, it's a detriment to their business. I mean, you're seeing over and over again people that they don't want to hear all this shit from these people anymore. It's like you're saying it's almost like you're caught in an outdated version of the virus, and everybody else already has the immunity to that virus.
Yeah.
You know, like you need a new mind virus. The one that you're pushing, it's like it doesn't work anymore. It's too crazy.
Yeah. It's the whole thing's very crazy. I mean, the media is incredibly partisan. I mean, they're not. I mean, they take almost all media is left shifting.
Rare sample acquired.
It's kind of weird if you talk to somebody who gets a lot of information from what I call legacy media. They're living in a different world.
Yeah.
Than if they say are listening to your podcast or getting news
Requesting air
from
support.
X.
I got the terminal.
Just it's kind of wild. Like
It is very wild.
like it's like they're living in an alternate
Engaging
reality.
terminal.
Oh, there's a lot of people that I talk to that I have to go, where did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the
Sending in an
Associated
eagle.
Press, which I call Associated Propaganda, BAP. They ran a international news
got the
story saying
terminal.
that Doge fired air traffic controllers, but we didn't fire any air traffic controllers at all. In fact, we're trying to hire air traffic controllers, not fire them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Requesting air
You
support.
made a tweet about it, right?
Yeah.
What do you call it now? You call it a post?
Post, yeah, whatever.
You can't call it a tweet, though. Do you call it a tweet accidentally,
Call it
ever?
post. I don't know. But like if one, like let's say somebody posts, if somebody puts up like a 2-hour-long video, that's not
Sending in an eagle.
Right. It's a post.
yeah, good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how to over somewhere for a tweet, whatever.
You put a post about it, just to get back to it, saying that we need highly qualified air traffic controllers. If you retired, if you would consider
Orbital inbound.
Yes. So a lot of really qualified air traffic controllers were pushed out because of the DEI stuff. So I mean, not to be blunt, a bunch of really good, talented old white guys were pushed out. It's not cool. And so there's a talent shortage in air traffic control because of DEI and not hiring people on merit.
Which is so crazy that worked.
I think we should not put public safety at risk.
No.
Because of some demented philosophy.
Somebody made a post today about it infiltrating the NSA. Did you see any of that?
That was
Crazy.
some gnarly stuff.
Yeah, crazy. What it started off as just like this sort of fringe thing.
Yeah.
People would meet up, then it completely infiltrated the organization.
Yeah.
And they're spending all their time.
It's like 400 people or something, and some chat
Helldivers
room
never die.
with like some extremely demented stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's
Does anyone here need
It's
samples?
so kooky. You'll
Oh
you
yeah.
don't need the NSA.
Vamp
The
or
NSA is
commons and rares.
all about like information and
It's my last upgrade, and then I'd be done.
Like if so there's a national threat or something.
yeah, I think this is exactly it.
Requesting orbital.
So more than 100 intelligence staffers will be fired over sexually explicit texts in NSA chat rooms.
God, we'll keep grabbing like that. Just for you.
Requesting air support.
So top intelligence official told Waters that the workers in question were brazenly using an NSA platform intended for professional use to conduct this kind of really, really horrific behavior. What is the behavior? What exactly? What is it? So do they say in this article?
I think they will also.
Okay, it says employees who participate in the NSA's obscene, pornographic, and sexually explicit chat rooms.
Your tax dollars at work.
Well, it was all like DE. I mean, it was all like LGBTQ stuff. There was a lot of like transition stuff, and
Yeah.
I know I definitely did. The point is, it infiltrated the organization.
It's not what they should be talking about.
At all.
At all.
At all.
Sample
Yeah,
collected.
It's supposed to be
that's-
Rare
protecting the
sample
country.
acquired.
Right. And if and people are talking about how they're spending half their time in these meetings, and that they're just like constantly having to attend these things where they talk about these issues. What are you doing? Like if you have a problem with someone that's discriminatory, get rid of that person. That's it.
Yeah.
It's your problem's over. You got someone who's homophobic in your business. They're openly homophobic. Yeah, that you can't work here. That's not cool. That's it. That's it. You don't have to have fucking meetings constantly promoting this. You're not going to change someone's opinion by berating them over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, a work environment should be a professional environment where they're getting the job done that they're being paid to do. It should be
Of course.
It's obviously not supposed to be sort of getting paid for bizarre sex escapades.
It's just so fascinating that the virus is so strong that it made it into
L2,
the NSA.
I got supplies over here, dog.
You would think those are some hardcore. Yeah, they were in there.
I did not
Which
realize
is
anyone was
bananas.
that close
You would
behind
think
me.
same thing, like hard-nosed, like tough people doing hard work.
Who can spy on you whenever they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get revenge on you whenever they want.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
And,
located. West,
you know,
200 meters.
they exist when the president leaves. They stay. People move around.
Heavy.
You stay a part of the organization for your entire career. You get deeply entrenched in their system and how things work and who's back to rub and who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, who's on our side, who's not.
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah.
So.
New mag.
Was that what's taking so long with this Epstein files?
Yeah, what's up with that? What is up with that?
It was like,
Yeah.
it's like Lucy and the football, Charlie Brown. She always pulls that football away. It's the same thing. It's like they keep telling us they're gonna release it day one. Oh,
Yeah, but in a serious case of no one's being arrested homophobia, you know.
Well, there's also right.
Like, what the fuck's going on?
What the fuck is going on? Also, there's this real fear
Oh,
that
never
someone's
mind.
destroying
I thought y'all
the evidence.
both
And you keep
died,
hearing these
but
stories,
he actually got you in
unsubstantiated
early.
stories
Yeah, my
of,
bad.
you know, FBI.
But where's
members.
the evidence? I mean, the guy.
I was like, they're both dead. Might as well bring them over here.
Recording.
I
mean, he had all sorts of things.
Right.
Like, there's a mountain of evidence.
Right.
So where's that mountain?
Yeah, where's that mountain? And what would be the reason why they would agree?
Yeah, you got
Like, there
that. You
had
got
to be
that reinforcement
something
off like
in
last
it for
second.
them
That was crazy.
To agree to not put it out.
I'm sorry.
Right? Like there has to
don't
be
be sorry.
some
We should
sort
have
of
been paying more attention.
financial entanglement, some sort of relationship with the people that are on that list.
Yeah.
That they
Engaging
could
terminal.
provide a value that was big enough for you to not release it, or to slow release it, or to hope you can get away with like putting out some redacted files that don't show anything.
Yeah.
This is
A
only
whole bunch of
stage one.
redacted.
Stand over by
Stage
this
one,
one.
don't worry, the real stuff's coming. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like why wouldn't you just release it all? Like what could possibly be
Well,
worth protecting in there?
I mean, I think I've got probably the same information that. I mean, I'm just reading what's the latest thing on the X. You know, I'm just looking at my X feed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a real page turner. And like, I thought we were gonna get some revelations today. I was like, big binders full of stuff.
Yeah.
There's gotta
Seen
be
the
something in there.
reinforcements
Well, there were
stream
some
over to
all
where you
those
guys
people
are.
that were
It's
given a copy of it. They were all like waving
Yeah,
it
it
around like
sounds-
they,
sounds-
feels
they
like
got
we
the
can't
Willy
help
Wonka
you.
ticket.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And what happened?
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's a
So,
resupply
I think Laura
available.
Loomer released it online. I
Yeah.
think. Right?
She's not very pleased about this.
So does anybody find anything in there that's interesting?
I'm calling it in if no one else
Okay,
is.
What the fuck is going on?
But then apparently they discovered a whole bunch of stuff
Calling down
at the Southern
supplies.
District of New York.
Right.
So that's and then I'm like, and I mean I think you know Pam Bondi is actually great and Cash Patel are great, but they just got there. You know?
Right.
So then they just got there, but they're in a hostile environment. They're not in a friendly environment.
Right.
You know, it's like if you suddenly got put in captain of a ship, but the crew was previously your enemy.
Right.
The entire crew was
Right.
previously your enemy.
Right.
You know.
And you're telling them, give me evidence.
Yeah, the crew doesn't want to give you the
It
evidence.
shows you guys
because the
are all
crew's your
criminals.
enemy.
Liberty.
They were like your mortal
the
enemies just a moment ago.
Tagging
You
location.
just got there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we got to give
Marking
you know
location.
the Attorney General and you know new director of the FBI so a little bit of slack here because they literally just got there.
I think so too, but hey, don't say you're going to release it on day one then.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have said that.
Sure.
And don't say you got a big drop coming tomorrow, and that's some bullshit that's been around forever.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, what the? And where's the JFK files? Where are those? Yeah, let them go.
And then just left one of the mega bases.
What's going on? It
That
can't be
rocket was from
anything that's gotten
here.
to me yet. So if nothing's gotten to me yet, it can't be
I mean,
significant.
if there's conspiracy evidence, someone's gonna send it
Yes,
to you.
Tim Dillon's going to text me. 100%.
Yeah.
Tim Dillon, Dave Smith, someone's going to send
Somebody's
it my way.
gonna send you the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So it
Right,
hasn't
so
it hasn't been released yet.
there's no way.
Yeah,
Requesting sentry.
you would find out. And
200 meters.
here's the real question: like, what could even be in there at this point that they haven't cleared out?
Dropping a pin.
There's
You've
some
got
approaching
paperwork
us
from
from
1963.
the northwest
Like, what
and
is
the
in there
southwest.
still? What is in there that
Northwest.
could possibly be incriminating?
Southwest.
That supposedly Trump said
Just
Yeah.
that if you
I think
saw
we're gonna
the
get our
shooting,
boys out in
it was-
time. We're gonna be all right.
Okay, what the fuck
I
was that?
I haven't seen it, so
Cash Patel has.
yeah.
He said he's seen it all. Yeah.
Last three loading up
Just
now.
posted to his like X account or something.
Unfortunately, the boys you just released, they ain't gonna be able to make it on the
I
flight.
don't think he can. He's the director of the FBI. I think he has to
Oh,
go through
yeah,
proper
the door
channels.
closes.
And
That's it.
He is the channel.
What's he gonna do?
Sound
They'll
like
let him
Trump.
in.
You sound like Trump. He needs an
Oh man,
executive
the
order.
ones from the north
storm.
are
I am
coming
the
fast.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
let's
channels he has
head
the channel.
south and
Well,
hit the fortress.
again, imagine just getting to the,
You get started
hull,
on your
or
next
just
trip.
getting to the deck of the ship, and you're the captain.
Yeah.
And now you have to figure out who's running things, who's doing this, where is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting anything done.
Requesting
like,
orbital.
Like I said, you just joined as captain of a ship with crew, agent guys.
Yeah. They were your enemy.
Yeah, they were your enemy.
Yeah.
They're strongly opposed to anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get them off.
And you're trying to expose them.
Yeah, they don't want to be exposed.
Right. You're literally people that are working there are probably a part of this problem.
I mean, I was reading on X that like Comey's daughter is like the lead prosecutor in some district in New York. Did you read that?
Yes.
And like, so obviously there's a bit of an entanglement there.
A little bit.
Like, what if there's something that
Right.
you know puts her dad in a bad light?
Exactly. He's a fucking shredder. Hit that delete button.
shredder's
Keep hitting
working
that
overtime,
delete
you
button.
know?
Did you see General Flynn? He was on a podcast and he spoke directly to James Comey.
Yeah.
He said, "Jim, you're going to jail, and unless you give up someone deeper than you, and you know who that is,
Sending in an eagle.
you know who I'm talking about. Like that is wild.
Yeah.
To think that the former director of the FBI might be really in that kind of deep shit, and he really actually was doing some evil, corrupt shit while he was running the FBI.
I mean, it seems like there's some very shady stuff that's been going on.
Seems like it definitely happened in the 60s, right?
Sure,
Everybody kind of
right.
admits to that. They admit the FBI
Yeah.
killed Black Panthers.
I threw a 380 in
They
there.
did a lot of shit. There's a
That
lot of
should
stuff
soften
that went
it
on
up.
that we know the government did way back in the day.
Yeah, why don't we date it up for file? Like, go in there, take photos of old paper, presumably paper, and just post it online. And let the chips fall where they may.
Isn't presumably everyone
I mean, is it in
involved
like
dead?
some like filing cabinet somewhere? I don't know.
Right. Where is it?
Where's the magic filing cabinet?
How are they hiding it? Who's got access to it? Like this is what I was hoping. Day one, I was hoping, but obviously it's taking a lot longer than that. So
I think part of it is like you know like let's say you were made
Requesting
director.
air
Yeah.
support.
I might be able to.
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
you like literally you
You know,
go
Dan,
there.
you know what he's doing now? He's one of the big
Dan-
dogs of the
Ow.
FBI.
Dan's a,
Yeah,
he's
he's
a
a
tough
Secret
guy.
Service guy. Yeah, legit guy. But people think of him as a Fox News guy, just like Pete Hegseth. Same
It's
thing.
called the easy
They don't
way.
want to think
Dropping
about
a
his
pin.
distinguished military career. They want to say, oh, that Fox News guy? Deputy Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I mean,
yeah.
Dan's hardcore. I don't know.
Calling down a sentry.
If it's legally findable, I think you can find it.
Yeah, this is
How'd
the
you
between
like
him and
that?
Pat.
I need supplies.
Get stuff
How
out there.
crazy would it be if they couldn't?
Requesting orbital.
How crazy would it be if they can't find it? If it's that,
Yeah.
if everybody shuts their mouth, like everybody cuts their mouth.
Like an FBI computer where you type in the search. But I it's like the basic mechanism. Like it's either in a filing cabinet on the paper where it's like, you know, maybe there's like progressive levels of security.
orbital.
Where like open this door up, you gotta have.
I program all the way from one side of the
Level
base to the
unlocked,
other.
and there's a level unlocked. And it's like
Yeah, I just ran through it all somehow.
Laptop.
yeah.
Yeah, there's an
I mean,
old
I wasn't seeing
unplugged
it
laptop.
yeah.
You gotta always plug it in. It's in a skiff.
Yeah, this is why like I think like a tour of Fort Knox would be awesome. Like a live tour report Knox, well, actually see it's like it's controlled there or not. They say it is.
Twice
It's
Liberty
but if
Mile!
somebody spray paints some lead, you know? Imagine it's not. Imagine it's not all there, like some of it's missing.
What if like half of it's missing?
I mean, how do we even know?
They said the last time they let someone look at it was decades ago.
Yeah, but I believe the last formal audit was in the 50s. So I'm like, okay,
Oh my god, just think about all
maybe
the
we
other
should check
things
it
you've already-
again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Think about all the other stuff that you pointed out. All the checks that just go out, the NGO payments, the Social Security people. Think about all that. Now apply that to the gold.
Absolutely. I just want to emphasize the sheer madness of the government. It's just because they have magic money computers that the checks never bounce to the federal government. So you don't have the normal corrective mechanism that you have for a company or for an individual. The checks is always clear. The net result is inflation, which is effectively a tax on everyone. You know, the Defense Department hasn't passed an audit in I don't know how many years. 7 years. Yeah, I mean, exactly. So it's like you'd have to be friggin' Chuck Norris.
Orbital inbound!
Only Chuck Norris can get the Defense Department to pass an audit, you know, everything. That's the level of skill you need, you know.
Well, that's what's so insane. You bring it back to the idea that it's a business. Well, yeah, this should never be tolerated in any kind of functional business.
Exactly. So, you know,
Another
Pentagon
reinforcements.
will like their accounting error, stuff that they lose in the couch cushions is like $20, $30 billion a year.
Requesting air
So they
support!
don't know where it went. It's gone. Way to go. And it's gone. So it's insane.
It's so insane.
So that's why I said even simple things just requiring that the outgoing payments with their payment code and comment of what the payment is about and someone to pull about the payment.
Interesting.
I think will have a very powerful effect in stopping wasteful output and stopping fraud.
That sucks.
Yeah, and here's another way to look at this. Imagine if there are people like you and the Doge team out there in the world. Imagine
they
if one
despawn
of
by
those
the time we get
works for an organization like USAID or any other
I get there.
organization and has this understanding of how much fuckery.
I guess I'll stay here for
but
the extract,
they have
guys.
evil
Y'all
intentions.
Y'all go on
And they're
ahead.
entwined in this system for decades and decades, and they've built a career and all the entanglements that come with it. And they start moving shit around. You could probably
Yep,
do it
they haven't
easy.
despawned.
It sounds like the way you've laid it out. If you were a career person who's in there forever, who knew how everything works, and you were very clever, you could make some shit happen. And you could probably do it in conjunction with some people that you know that are forming an NGO. Hey, let's all work together.
Yeah.
And this is the resistance that you're facing.
You mad?
Yeah.
Are you
I think
at a
it's the biggest
bunker?
scam of all time.
This is not something to electronically
The biggest scam of all time, ever.
of human history.
Orbital inbound!
North, 50 meters.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think what
Like
else
it's
could
probably
we do?
$1 trillion scam. There's never been $1 trillion scam.
Now, this is not something that you ever set out to do. This is not, you didn't have this as a career aspiration. This
No.
is not.
It's like this is the most absurd outcome I could possibly imagine, actually. Also, Doge started as sort of a meme coin.
Right.
You know, it was like a joke
Requesting air support!
cryptocurrency
Requesting air support!
involving memes and dogs.
Which is so funny that the letters wind up being perfect.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump
actually,
off.
I
You go
was
get
looking at codes like the Government Efficiency
sample
Commission,
bunker.
which is a very boring name. And then people online were like, no, you need to do the Department of Government Efficiency. And I was like,
Sending
you know
in an
what?
eagle!
Of course. I mean, it's more evidence in this inflation. That will cheat you.
Remarkably, I survived
Is a
in the votes here.
The meme coin's probably worth a lot of money right now, right? Like every time you tweet about it,
probably, I
it
don't
shoots up.
Yeah.
Requesting
That's
orbital!
very well.
It is so bananas that people dump real money into coins and
Have
then
a
just
taste of
It's
democracy!
like a casino or something.
yeah, it's totally
And then people just do whatever the greater fool theory and
Sending in an
whoever,
eagle!
like, the last to sit down and lose.
and somehow or another it's still legal.
South, 50 meters.
Like that's
I
how,
mean, the thing is, I think not too many people. I mean, it's sort of like you go to a casino. Like if you expect to win a casino, you're being a right. So I think if you expect to win at game points, it's not being full.
Yeah.
But you're not going to win at game points. Like if you want, it's like going to live
Game where you go to
No, you can't gamble a little, and you can't ride waves and win a little and lose a little.
if you want to have some fun,
Yeah.
and
I
don't,
guess.
then play with me.
But if you put your
don't bet the
family's
bomb.
if you put your family's wealth
on a meme coin.
in the Hawk
At
Tour
the risk
coin,
of saying something bold and outrageous, don't bet the bomb on a meme coin.
the weird one is the pump and dumps. Like these people
happen all the time.
all the time,
Yeah.
and people get shocked that somebody pump and dump. Like, what are you doing? I was hoping to dump. I was hoping to make all the money out of this. Can't believe they got me. Like,
You mad?
it's just weird that it's legal still.
I mean, casinos are illegal.
Yeah.
And
It is
people
like a
just
casino.
lose money at casinos.
Yeah. But you can't rig a casino like a pump and dump. You could rig a pump and dump.
I approve of your dedication
yeah,
to
I
the
guess so.
samples.
And
Hopefully super cash.
Like, you could run a real pyramid scheme.
No.
well, I mean, the government's
Yes,
one
no.
of the permits scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you're
Oh,
better than
so
anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately. But the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying.
Man, Pelican
with-
really will
the cut-
wait forever.
You're paying.
Yeah,
look at the
it'll
future
wait
obligation
until
of Social
the
Security
16 minutes go off, and then it'll start the
exceeds
20-second
the
boarding
tax rate.
timer.
Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligation.
And if it's not called when the
So when
time
we look
runs
at
out,
future
it then
obligations
starts
of
to
Social
call it
Security,
in.
The actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations.
Tax required. High value sample
So
collected.
basically, people are living way longer than expected, and there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad
All right, shall we
the
get out of
financial
here?
situation is
Let's
right
go,
now,
guys. Let's go. Go,
for the
go,
federal
go,
government,
go.
It will be much worse in the
Pelican
future.
1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20
The risk of
seconds.
being a bust.
Requesting air support.
Did you see?
So we better fix what we've got right now.
Pelican 1
Bad
beginning
now.
ascent.
There was an interview with this whistleblower. Did you ever find out if that was true?
There's so many whistles being blown. It's hard to keep track.
A lot of whistleblowers. But this one lady,
Only in one state. It was very specific. It's
right? But it was using Social Security money, correct? That was her.
I don't know.
That was her allegation. So what she was alleging was that she was in charge of turning illegal immigrants into clients. That's what they would call them. And that she would go to them and try to ask them, do you have a headache? Do you have back problems? If you do, now you can be permanently disabled. You get permanent disability, so you get Social Security for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just Social Security, but disability, which is even more.
Right, and you get them on the taxpayer dole right away the moment, and they're illegal aliens.
Yes. Oh, so if I were to say, like, what's at the heart of the sort of, like, why is the Democrat propaganda machine so fired up to destroy me? That's the main reason. The main reason is that entitlements fraud. That includes like Social Security, disability, Medicaid. Entitlements fraud for illegal aliens is what is serving as a gigantic magnetic force to pull people in from all around the world and keep them here. Like basically, if you pay people at a standard of living that is above 90% of Earth, then you have a very powerful incentive for 90% of Earth to come here and to stay here. But if you end the illegal alien fraud, then you turn off that magnet, and they leave, and they stop coming, and the ones that are here, many of them will simply leave. And if that happens, they will lose a massive number of Democratic voters.
And if it didn't happen, they would turn those people into voters.
Correct.
Which they were trying
No,
to do.
They're already turning them. So in New York State, illegal aliens can already vote in state and city elections. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, they're trying to fight that. They're trying to stop that.
Impacts have heavy armor.
Currently, I think it's like 600,000 are registered to vote, illegal aliens in New York.
Here?
That is wild.
What about here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at, say,
What about here?
FEMA, like the agency that was paying for illegal aliens to stay at luxury hotels in New York was FEMA. That's an agency that's meant to support Americans in distress from natural disasters, was paying for luxury hotels for illegals in New York.
It's true. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Fact.
They're literally, like, when we stopped that payment, we stopped all those monies, because that's obviously an insane way to spend taxpayer money. The New York sued the federal government to get the money. So you could just look at their lawsuit. They were sending that money even after President Trump signed an executive order saying it needs to stop.
Launch
They
initiated.
still press send on $80 million to luxury hotels in New York. Your tax money went to pay for illegal aliens in luxury hotels in New York from an agency that is meant to help Americans in distress from natural disasters.
Right. And I would like to
That's
know
fucked
how
up.
much. And I would like to know how much they spent on North Carolina and how much they spent on Maui.
Yes, exactly. What's actually happening is they're buying voters. That's really what's happening. It's like a giant voter import scam. They're importing voters, and it's really just a matter of time. So, like, if a lot of people have trouble believing this, but the more you look at it, the more you will realize just how much of a problem this is, and how it's not just real. It is an attempt to destroy democracy in America. That's what it, in my view, is what it really is. Like, if you take the sort of 7 swing states, like, often the margin of victory there is like maybe 20,000 votes. If you put 200,000 illegals in there,
That's just
and
what
they
we
have
need.
like a 80% likelihood of voting Dem, and it's only a matter of time before they become citizens, then those swing states will not be swing states in the future. And if they are not swing states, we'll be a permanent one-party state country. Permanent, deep blue socialist state. That's what America will become.
And that was the game plan.
That
Are
was the game plan.
anti-tank
That is still the
mines
game plan.
POG or what?
And so
And they
there's-
almost succeeded. If the machine of which the Kamala puppet was the representation had won, that's what would have happened. The reason I went so hardcore for Trump was because, to me, this was a fork in the road.
placement.
A very obvious fork in the
Yeah,
road.
and placement's
That
pretty
was-
good.
Yeah.
If they had another 4 years, they would legalize enough illegals
Someone
in
else
the swing
is
states
gonna
to make
use
the swing states
Rick Wallace first.
not swing states. They would be blue states.
Orbital
Then
inbound!
they would win the presidential. They'd win the House, the Senate, the presidency. They would then make district, DC into a state. Maybe Puerto Rico get 4 extra senators, back to the Supreme Court. Then you'll have the House, Judiciary, Senate, the presidency, all blue. And then they will keep importing more to cement that
Requesting
cutout.
orbital!
Basically what happened in California.
Heavy, south, close.
It
Day
was,
one, you're in the danger zone.
that's why I went so hard for Trump. It was otherwise, and that's why the Democrat machine is so intent on destroying it.
You man!
It's just so fascinating that people can't see this.
I mean, I invite people to do their research. The more they do their research, the more they will see that what I'm saying is absolutely.
Orbital inbound!
It's like Let's do the research.
It's
The walker made it
such
through.
a bad idea, even for the Democrats, which is what they don't understand. Like, it's
Yeah,
the same
it's not ultimately going to work out.
No, it's the same people.
Yeah.
It's just they're doing it under the guise that they're the kind, compassionate, progressive people.
50 meters.
But the same outcome takes place. It's just about control. And they probably institute some central bank digital currency and some social credit score system. And then yeah, of course. Well, that was the big fear.
Oh, it's flying.
I see that. The walker's flying.
Talked about it before. Major forks in the road. The big one was Trump didn't get shot.
Yep.
The other big one was DeFi Twitter.
Yeah.
And if those two things don't happen, the whole world looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to be on that kind of.
No, we don't want to have
Of course it
only
bounced.
one side
Damn it.
represented because guess what? They will
That is
hijack
the
that
worst
side,
thing.
whatever it is. They'll hijack that
you,
side and use it for money and control, and that's what it's all about. It's not about good people versus bad people. It's a bullshit shell game.
Yeah. I think these things are actually, it's easy to understand if you look at basic incentives. The basic incentive here is
I see this one isn't going to
Seal the gates.
the more likely they are to win.
Seal the gates.
That's what they can do. That's what
The walker keeps gonna blow right through the gates. Don't see him.
California Super
No, he won't. He's dead.
Oh, there's another one.
I mean, Indianapolis has their.
No, these gates are made out of democracy steel, alright? They hold.
Another one.
And California made healthcare free or illegal
Last reload.
as of last year. So, and that, obviously that's a gigantic magnet for more illegals. Like, and this is not a thing you can solve simply with money. What happens is you simply have more patients than a doctor can possibly see. And you can't just, make doctors out of nothing. Like, so it started to feel like, oh, it's just a money thing. No, it takes a long time for somebody to become a doctor. The 30 years. And so what actually happens in California is that there are too many patients for the doctors to see. So then the average citizen in California suffers as a result. Now the elite
Guys, I got some bad news. The gates did not hold.
pay for the best doctors. So the elite in California is very fine, but your average citizen in California is not. And the tax burden for healthcare for illegals was supposed to be $3 billion. I think they're now estimated as $9 billion. But that number will scale to infinity, basically.
Reinforcing.
Why not? But why not? If you need any operation at all, come to California and have it be free
Right.
from anywhere else.
And the people that want to look at it in the most charitable way, they say, oh, well, these people are hardworking, good people, and they're the backbone of our city, and they should have access to all the things that we have access to. And I just don't think they understand that it's a political pawn. I don't think they understand, but this is not done for compassion and kindness. This is just done to ensure that it stays blue. Yeah, it's essentially a bribery with your tax dollars.
Yes, this is why the Dems will not even deport criminals.
Yeah.
In the future, please place the Century 7 off to the side or come down the steps because it kept blowing me all over the place.
An illegal with a criminal record and commits a crime in America, they are still would not be deported.
And then on top of that, California made it actually illegal to ask for ID when people vote.
Requesting orbital.
California and New York, you are not allowed to show your ID when you vote. I just want to be clear so everyone understands this. California and New York, you are not allowed to show your ID even if you want to.
Right.
Heavy.
Why would
South.
that ever
50 meters.
be a good idea?
I mean,
What was that?
if you're trying to facilitate fraud in elections, it's a great idea.
It's the only reason.
Yeah.
There's no other reason logically why that would be a good idea.
But it's for fraud. It's like wake up, people. Wake up. Hello.
Democracy has lit.
Like, let's say you want to fraud. What are the
How about a
things
nice
you would do?
cup of
You would
liver
say
tea?
you don't need ID, and you can mail in your ballot.
Maybe we'll give you free healthcare.
Yes. Yes.
Fire in the hole.
Let's stay here.
I mean, in this case, it being on fire is not just a metaphor in California. Okay, it's just like goddamn entire neighborhoods burning down.
It's just once they allow people to vote that are not legal in California, if you're going to do that, it's over.
Exactly. There's no coming back.
The numbers are just people are so indoctrinated too. There's so many people that no matter what they think voting Republican means you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And they won't do it. They'll put their fucking rainbow flag on their porch and they'll just ride it right to the beach.
Civilizational suicide.
Yeah. Right to the rocks. Bang. Crash the boat.
I mean, there's a guy, first name, who's great. God's
Yeah. Friend of mine.
Oh,
He's been on the
great.
podcast.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Great.
And he talks about, basically suicidal empathy.
Mm-hmm.
If there's so much empathy that you actually suicide yourself.
Yeah.
So that we've got civilizational suicidal empathy going on. And it's like, I believe in empathy. Like, I think you should care about other people, but you need to have empathy for civilization as a whole, and not commit to a civilizational suicide.
Also, don't let someone use your empathy against you so they can control your state and then do an insanely bad job of managing it and never get removed.
The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit. They're exploiting a bug in Western civilization, which is the empathy response. So, and I think empathy is good. But you need to think it through and not just be programmed like a robot.
Right. Understand when empathy is actually used as a tool.
Yes. It's weaponized empathy is the issue.
Calling in reinforcements!
Yeah.
And it's also the rigid adherence to that liberal ideology. You can't switch sides over there. Like California, if you're a part of that whole tech, of Hollywood, entertainment, any of those circles, you're on the left.
Yeah.
Like, almost wholly. Almost completely.
It's borderline illegal to be a Republican in California. In San Francisco or LA, it's borderline illegal to be a Republican.
You're certainly shunned.
No, in San Francisco, you could shoot heroin while picking a dump on the mayor's car in front of City Hall. Okay, and nothing would happen to you. But if you walk down the street with a MAGA hat, you're gonna get attacked.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. It's also so Orwellian that a hat that says "Make America Great Again" would cause people to have a violent reaction. Like, aren't you American? Wouldn't you, just as a whole, like the saying, wouldn't that be a good thing for everyone? Make America great again. Yes. But because it's attached to Donald Trump and that red hat, you'll get maced for wearing that red hat. They will make America worse by beating you. So it's like it's an evil thing they're doing, a violent assault in America because you want to make America great again. It's like a scene in a book. It doesn't seem like it could be that ridiculous. Like, remember when All Lives Matter was expired?
Which is insane.
Insane. People got fired because they said all lives matter.
Which is a very reasonable thing to say.
How reasonable is that? That's essentially saying everybody matters. But that's not
what you're saying.
That's not what you were supposed to say. Black lives matter, which of course they do.
Your sacrifice will not be in
But the
vain.
idea of being a colorblind society was completely abandoned somewhere around.
Throw your grenades if they're useful at all.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of trace it. When did the
Grenades out.
gun emotion get nerfed? You know, when did it turn into a sport gun?
On my
That was a couple of
position.
years. That was like 2016.
New mag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was quite bad.
Okay, wherever that
You bring it back down.
artillery
No,
tank
right.
is.
If you use a gun emoji on X, the Apple will insist that it be a squirt gun, and then the X app turns it back into
Orbital inbound.
1911.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So you could actually, have a 1911 gun. We reverted the Apple change inside the app.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That thing's so offensive. The gun and then the pregnant man. Both of those got me. You motherfucker. where it's like,
Yeah, there are those HMG
Calling in
turrets.
reinforcements.
Information of the same people that did the pregnant man emoji.
Requesting orbital.
yeah.
Think about that.
Heavy. Now, on my position.
People that say a woman attacked a Tesla factory.
Yeah, it's a dude.
It's a dude, like really obvious dude. Really
Like a mentally ill dude.
Yeah, mentally ill dude with a wig on. Say that.
Yes.
Last
Yeah,
reload.
but
Yeah.
NBC, even Fox.
You look at the picture and you're like, yo, this is a dude with a strong jaw.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's wearing woman face.
Bro, ain't
It's a buff. It's a buff dude.
Yeah, it's a buff dude wearing woman face.
Child surviving the map that way.
That's not
I just need one
And then
more
they're like
guy.
saying, one shot for disinformation. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is bullshit.
I mean, it's just more evidence of the virus, though, right? Like, it killed objectivity, killed reality, and it demanded strict adherence, or you were attacked.
New mag.
Yeah.
Any questioning of it, which was
Mag's empty.
Do you, like, what kind of responsibility?
Orbital inbound.
Like, knowing that if you didn't take over Twitter, turn into X, if that didn't happen, I really think the world's a very different place right now. Like, how long have you owned it for? Imagine a couple years of it being run the way it was run before. And probably accelerate.
I mean, my account was suspended. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just for the disinformation.
Yeah. It would have been
Trump would have never come back. Alex Jones would have definitely never been back.
definitely not.
No.
So, yeah.
Does that weigh on you? Like, I don't feel like that.
Oh, that walking barrage just dropped on top of us.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just trying to keep some
Reinforcing.
going here.
It's okay, guys. I'll walk to the enemy.
that would be the most effective one. Because it'll clear everything out
We at
from
least
us.
wanna focus on
Yeah.
ours.
Look at the bright side.
Exactly.
Which would be incredibly important in ensuring the long-term survival of civilization.
Are you still rescuing those people that are stuck in the space station? Whoa. They've been up there for how long, Jamie? They were supposed to be there for a couple days, right?
I think actually like 4 weeks. They're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be up there for like 8 days.
Yeah.
And they've been up there for like 8 months. So a little longer than expected.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What is it going to be like for those people when they get back? They're going to be a wreck for a long time, right?
Yeah, if as long as you
All
stay
right.
up there, you get, sort of in zero G, you get increased blood loss. So
Hey, we're playing here.
it ended up being like this political football, and sort of hotly contested topic. And we often look back when this offer was rejected by Liberty has seen you through. For political reasons.
That's so crazy.
There's no way that they're gonna make anyone who's supporting Trump look good.
No.
I hope I got a lot of kills. That would be cool.
They had won.
Well,
How would they get those people back?
no, they can only get them back with a SpaceX spacecraft, but they pushed the return date past the inauguration date.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they would have let you do it, but after the...
Yeah.
Wow. And so it would have been them authorizing you
Well, there
to
isn't
do
anyone
it.
else to do it.
NASA can't get them.
Only the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is the only one that is considered safe enough to bring them back. So the NASA concluded that the Boeing spacecraft was not safe, so that's why they're stuck there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you can't ask Russia to help.
That would be awkward.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a nice thing if they did. So, guys, we'll help. You know?
I think that for enough money.
Do you think so?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they would obviously treat it as a propaganda victory and
Yeah.
charge a crazy money.
It's just disgusting that they would use that as a political tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So-
You have a good one. Thanks for playing.
The Biden administration was also suing SpaceX. They had this massive lawsuit against SpaceX for SpaceX not hiring asylum seekers.
Right.
So people like say like, oh, Elon's making it up. The Biden administration wasn't against SpaceX. I'm like, Bro, the Department of Justice had a massive lawsuit against SpaceX for not hiring asylum seekers, even though it is illegal for us to hire anyone who is not a permanent resident. So it is both. There's a law that says you have to hire asylum seekers, but there's also a law that says anyone hired by a rocket company, which is an advanced weapons technology, must be a permanent resident. And if an asylum seeker is not a permanent resident. So it is both legal and illegal to hire asylum seekers. So why would the Biden administration launch a massive lawsuit? Again, this is public information. It's not like my imagination. Why would they launch do such a massive lawsuit against SpaceX? They're extremely antagonistic.
It just doesn't make any sense that that could ever even get past the first day of someone looking at it. If it's both illegal and you're trying to enforce it, like you can't enforce it.
Yes.
This is an advanced weapons company. This is crazy.
Correct. Yes.
It should be like this. Throw this out.
In fact, there's like international traffic and arms regulations is a law that is there to ensure that if only permanent residents of the United States can work at advanced weapons companies. Rockets are advanced weapons. So the same is true of like if it's like nuclear or some like bioweapon thing or something like that. So because they obviously if someone were to work at SpaceX and then leave and go to North Korea or Iran, they could build missile technology that could destroy the United States. So that's why you're not allowed to hire people who aren't permanent residents. It's logical. Basically. Logical.
So is that lawsuit still pending?
It was just dismissed.
How long was it going on for?
A couple of years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that drives me crazy. Like that people don't understand that if you sanction lawfare like that, if you sanction attacking your political enemies, someone's going to do that to you. Like if the wrong people get in office, if new people get in office 4 years from now, 8 years from now, who knows who it's going to be, you've already set a precedent. You've already attacked someone, charged them with 34 felonies, where they're really just misdemeanors, and
that other
they're
people
also
know
past the
about this.
statute of limitation. And now you're talking all over the news that this is a convicted felon. Convicted felon. He kept saying convicted felon, convicted felon. And everybody knows what it is. It's terrifying. It's terrifying they could do it so brazenly to a guy who was the president for 4 years.
Right. That lawsuit was funded by Reid Hoffman, who is a major Dem donor. And also an Epstein client. The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's just, it's so blatant. It's like so obvious. The SpaceX lawsuit, the Trump stuff, it's so obvious.
Yes. Like known Epstein clients who are obviously extremely powerful, they're powerful politically and very wealthy, are Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman. And some others too, but those three. So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
You think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm like, this is, so.
It's so frustrating to be sitting in a situation where the list isn't coming out.
Well, it better come out, hopefully tomorrow.
Why'd they release bullshit today?
I don't know.
What's the point in giving these people like a happy folder to wave around in front of the camera with nothing in it that's new? Doesn't make any sense. It's not encouraging.
Like I said, it's the tough thing that they've got is, they've been made captain of a ship with a hostile crew.
Right.
So they don't have it's not like you have like magical powers. You get made captain of a ship with a hostile crew. You still have a hostile crew.
Right.
You've got to bring in people who are gonna, be helpful as opposed to obstructionists.
Right.
So, But yeah, I think the public will be rightly frustrated if no one is prosecuted for the Epstein client list, no one at all.
Perfect timing.
Which,
Fuck BRB.
no one, like at least, I don't know, the top 5 or something, like some number there should at least be an attempted prosecution of the worst offenders.
Well, particularly if Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking.
Yes.
Because, trafficking
well, that means sex trafficking
who?
occurred.
Right. So she's in jail for it.
Yes.
So
who were the clients?
Yeah. Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of insane.
I think, yes, it would. Yes, because
Just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long. It's really kind of amazing.
Yes.
Like when people say that people can't keep secrets, what the fuck are you talking about? Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these things are not like it's common knowledge, but we don't actually have the proof.
Right.
So the proof is there. I mean, there's lots of videos.
Lunch.
Yeah, there's lots. I mean, the dude is like a mountain of whenever they raided Epstein's place, there would have been like a mountain of evidence. Where is that mountain?
Right. What'd you do with it?
Yes. Like who took possession of the evidence?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Right.
The individuals.
Where are the tapes?
Yes.
How many levels of clearance do I have to get into the vault?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we need are people who are really good with computers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And really good with
Was this Jamie?
technology.
I've never seen this photo.
That's when they raided his home?
They were.
That's when they on the island?
They were there then.
Yeah. They got everything, I'm sure.
I mean, there must have been so much stuff on that island.
There must have been. And if it wasn't there, where was it?
Yeah.
What, it has to be uploaded somewhere. There has to be some sort of a chain of evidence.
Yeah.
Or chain of custody.
It's got to be a mountain of evidence.
Yeah. The other thing they're going to talk about is UAPs. They're going to release all the UAP information.
What up, Bellhouse?
So you're the guy to ask about this. What if any possibility is there that there is some sort of advanced propulsion system technology that's being worked on in secret? And that they're trying to cover this up with this talk of aliens and alien tech and not of this world. And is it possible that there's some sort of very secret program that's going on in cahoots with some defense contractors that are developing advanced propulsion systems that they're using for these drones?
I mean, SpaceX, my company SpaceX has the most advanced rocket technology in the world. I think I'd know.
Right.
And to the best of my knowledge, there is not any magic. There's not like some super advanced propulsion technology.
There have been people who have theorized different gravity drives and different things. Is there anything that's ever gotten past the theoretical stage?
No.
Nothing.
Well, there's nothing even that I'm aware of that works in theory. It's not like I would like this to exist, to be clear. I would like this to exist. And I have from a security clearance standpoint, I have top secret. I have equivalent of like an all access pass from a security clearance standpoint. So I don't think they're hiding it from me, basically. I don't think they could.
Unless it's completely in these weapons manufacturing corporations.
I mean, I know these weapons manufacturing companies, like Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop. I mean, yeah, they do some interesting things, but they do not have. There's no breakthrough that they have.
So
I'm confident they do not have a breakthrough.
When you hear people
like, why don't they just compete with SpaceX and make a better rocket? In which case, they can make. Why are they holding back on making a lot of money from beating SpaceX with better rockets?
My thought was that what if it's just a drone and you can't have a biological entity inside of it because it just bursts from the fucking speed that it's moving at? That a human couldn't tolerate the amount of force. So they're just drones.
I don't think so.
So what do you think people like Ryan Graves
Like I said,
and Commander David
like,
Fravor...
I want cool things to exist.
Right.
Like, say, like, do I want UFOs to exist? Yes, I want UFOs to exist because that would be really
Of course,
interesting.
everybody does.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
It's a more boring world where UFOs don't exist, or like flying, like advanced propulsion stuff doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, that's more boring. I'd like it'd be more interesting. If it did exist, I'd like it to exist. I hope we find something, but I have not seen SpaceX launches 90% of all satellite mass to orbit. So if you take all of Earth's rocket launches, my company has a 90% market share of Earth. China does about 5%, and the rest of the world does, including the Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop, and everyone, does 5%. So why wouldn't they use this to defeat SpaceX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Why
sense.
would they hold
No,
back?
listen, that's why I asked you. It would make sense. What do you think that these people are
We're
seeing?
launching a rocket every 2 days.
But what do you think these people are seeing when you have reliable people like Commander David Fravor, who had that infamous Tic Tac experience off the coast of San Diego, where they got this thing on video, they tracked it going 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 feet in like a second.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then they also have video evidence of this thing accelerating at a great speed, eyewitness accounts from 2 different
Okay.
jets.
Sure. I mean, does anyone have a high-res video or photo of this thing?
Well, there's a video of this thing where they're locked onto it, and then it takes off. It shoots off
Is it
out of the
high-res?
frame. No,
Okay.
it's like whatever the systems they used on fighter jets in 2004. Essentially like Windows 95.
I mean, there's like somebody did a curve of like the resolution of UFOs and the resolution of cameras. The UFO resolution has stayed flat,
Right.
despite megapixels in cameras going like super high.
Well, according to Christopher Mellon,
Why are they still blurry?
Christopher Mellon, who worked in the State Department, said that they have high-resolution photos and videos of these things, and that's all
Okay.
that he's seen it. It's all locked away. Whenever people say that to me, I'm like, don't even tell me that then. Don't unless you have
Just leak it for God's sake.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Like let it slip.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple photos. They're grainy. There's not one thing that I've ever looked at and go, holy fuck, that's it.
Look,
That's
I mean,
what I've been
you,
looking
you
for.
could ask our Grok AI right now to create a high-res image of an alien spacecraft, over Austin,
Yeah.
and it's going to do a great job.
Yeah.
So why do we not have at least that?
Right. Yeah, but I want to believe. That's the problem. My brain starts going, oh, come on. This is no fun. I want it to be real. I want there to be at least be some advanced propulsion system. If not, like, what are all these people seeing? Like, what is happening if we're not being occasionally visited by things that are smart enough to hide?
We might be. It's just that these aliens are very subtle.
Yeah, you keep saying that. It's a good line.
I mean,
It's a solid line because it's pretty accurate.
I just want to see some high-res video of aliens.
Look, how are they just evading all the cameras? If you think about that, and the ones that you do get them on, it's just like some faraway light that's moving weird, and it could be a lot of things. But I want to believe.
Yeah, I mean, there've been like multiple times where, the Air Force and Navy has called SpaceX and said they think they've seen aliens, and we're like, was it at this time on this date in this location? They're like, yes. How do you know? That's us.
Well, there's been a lot of
That's
that.
our satellites. Those are our satellites.
Well, I
And they're
remember-
like, no, they're not. I'm like, yeah, they're definitely our
Oh
satellites.
yeah, people see the SpaceX satellites all the time whizzing by.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
our satellites, and
Yeah.
they are moving at 16,000 miles an hour. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fast.
And there's also stuff that the United States government does have that gets mistaken for UFOs. I remember the first time I saw a stealth bomber. We were filming Fear Factor. It was like right after 2003, like right after the war had broken off. And they were flying a stealth bomber down in Palmdale. I was like, holy shit. Like, if I didn't know what that was, I would 100% think that's
Yeah,
from another world. When you see
Stealth
that thing
bombers
flying,
look cool.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. I mean, it doesn't look like a human's. It looks
Yeah.
like something from Battlestar Galactica. You know,
It does look awesome. I mean, they're not stealthy against any advanced radar system, by the way. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work
It
anymore?
doesn't work, no.
Was it old
They're-
school stuff?
They're only stealthy against old radars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can still see them, like they're not invisible. you know?
Right. Right.
They're not like, oh, it's not like, cloaking device from Star Trek.
Did you see when me and Lex we watched the rocket get caught live while it was happening? That to me was one of the to see it actually. I've seen videos of it
real.
happen, but to see it actually live
Right.
was one of the coolest fucking things. You're like, wow, we
Yeah.
are in the future.
Right. I mean, nobody else can do that.
Yeah, it's true. Nobody else can do that. That's fact.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It's because I'm an alien. So it's time you knew.
I
Joe,
thought about it.
I'm an alien, and I keep telling people I'm an alien, but they don't believe me.
I believe you.
Okay, thank you.
I believe you.
Thank
That's my
goodness.
my suspicion all along was that
I'm
you
just
were an
trying to
alien.
get back to my home
I
planet.
said, you're a friendly alien. Like, it's nothing wrong with aliens. I like people from everywhere,
Yeah.
even other planets. What's next? Like, now that you can do that, you can catch rockets, what's like the ultimate expression of rocket technology? Like, what comes after this?
Well, I mean, the fundamental breakthrough we're aiming for at SpaceX is a fully and rapidly reusable orbital rocket, where both stages are fully and rapidly reusable. With our Falcon rocket, we are able to reuse the main stage and the nose cone, but we're not able to reuse the upper stage. And it still takes us at least a few days from when the main stage lands to when we can fly it again. So it's not fully reusable because we lose the upper stage, which costs $10 million to build, and then the main stage, it's not as reusable as like an aircraft. You can't just like refuel it and fly. It requires work for a couple days. But the Starship design is the first design that is capable of full and rapid reusability, where that is one of the possible outcomes. And once you have full and rapid reusability, the cost of access to space drops by a factor of 100. It's like 100 times cheaper. By some metrics, it's 1,000 times cheaper. And then when you factor in orbital refilling, so you refill on orbit, it can drop the cost per ton to the surface of Mars by a factor of 10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what has to improve in order to make it reusable?
Well, we need there's some, like, we're pretty close to being able to rapidly reuse the booster for